Hello and welcome to the ByteBlaze Academy. In this video, we are going to see how to create a virtual host. So this is required when you want to host multiple website within the same server which has only one IP. So this is my VPC which is on DigitalOcean. Your VPC could be anywhere on AWS or Vulture or anywhere. So I have one public IP, and if you want to host multiple website within the same public IP, what you typically do is for all the domain you want to host site, you will create a record. So all the domain will have this similar a record, and when that domain is called, it will simply call the server, and which will result you this in return, which will result you this. So all the website will serve same content if you do not create a virtual host. So in that case, if you want to host multiple site within the same server, then you would need to create a virtual host. So in this video we are going to see how we can create a virtual host. So first of all, we will need to log into the server. Before that, I will show you what. So this domain is the domain for which I want to create a virtual host. So this is domain which is already pointing to this server. And how can we say that? So if you ping, you would know where it is pointing. It is pointing, you see, the 139.598.111. It is pointing here. So what I will do is I will quickly log into this server. I'll just log into the server. Now I will start with the steps to create a virtual host. uh, Typically, we can divide this into three sections. First section, we will create a folder where we want to keep our file which will be served when this domain is called. Second, we will assign relevant user permission to that folder and its subfolder. And third, we will create a configuration file in etc slash apache 2 slash sites available. And that there in configuration file we will mention the server name, alias, and when this domain is called, what should be the document root. So let's begin with the first step, which is creating a directory. So we will create a directory, mkdir -p, and we will create directory in var slash triple w, and we will keep the directory name to be the domain name. And then within that, we'll use public html. You can use either public, either html, or any folder. It is good that you create a public folder within that domain so that you are able to separate your public and private content whenever required. So this will create a folder. Let me just check. Okay, so this has created a folder, byteblaze.live. Now to uh, this folder slash public html, we have to set permission to this folder. So I just copied path of this folder, sudo chown -r, which is recursive $user, and then user, and here would be your path of the folder, and basically this will set the permission. So we're done with the second step of with the first step of creating folder, second step of setting the permission. Now third step is we will create a virtual host configuration file, and this we have to create it here, apache 2 sites available. in this folder we have to create a configuration file. So I'll create a file called byteblaze.live.conf and enter. Then I will write virtual host, and this is for port 80, and let me close virtual host. So this is the configuration. Here first we will write server name, then server alias. If you want to call this server with some other name, so let's say www.byteblaze.live. So this is the second thing. Then document root. Document root would be the folder that we've created. So I'm just using this folder. And if you want to create a error log, it is good to create one. So error log in the same folder with the name error.log, and that's it. We will save this, control X and then Y and then enter. This is saved. So the virtual host is created. Now the next step is to activate, to enable this virtual host. For that we have to type command sudo a2 en site enable site and then name of the domain and hit enter. And then we need to restart, finally we need to restart our Apache. Sudo services, Apache to restart, sudo service Apache to restart. So if everything was correct, then this would have created a virtual host. Let's recap what all we did. We created a folder in the var/www with the domain name, and then we set a user permission in the second step. And in the third step, we created a configuration file in /etc/apache2/sites available with the name of the domain name and .conf, and then there we added virtual under virtual host. For port 80 we added server name, server alias and document root and then error log. And in this step 4 we've enabled it. We've enabled the virtual host by sudo a2 en site byteblaze.live, and then finally we've restarted our server. Let's check whether this is created or not. So as you can see, it was earlier showing the default HTML content from the default HTML directory. Now it is loading content from the virtual host directory, which is slash var www byteblaze and public HTML. So it is serving from here. Since it do not have any index file, let's create one index, just adding a basic hello here, h1 uh, content being served from virtual host. So this was the directory which we'd created as a virtual host. Now let's see if this is loading. That content is being served from the virtual host. So this is how we've created a virtual host. Similarly, you can, on the same server for different domain, you can create multiple virtual hosts. Or the only thing which will change is that you will have many domain folder over here. So say if tomorrow if I create bblz.com, then in here it will have bblz.com and so on. And within that, in public HTML, you can put your all the public files which can be searched by calling the domain. Hope this is helpful. Thank you.